2, 1, action.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jeffrey at Jeffrey TV coming to you live from my most favorite occupation, OWS Los Angeles. I was here with the first day of Pershing Square, and I attended the first 8 or so General Assembly, so I'm familiar with the Occupy LA tone, attitude, and demeanor. I recently attended the Occupy San Francisco and Occupy Oakland General Assemblies in their camps, and I was there for the tear gassing. I got a little bit, I wasn't in the middle, I took off. I was there when they proposed when the proposal was brought up to have the general strike. I was sitting there recording it, and I'm literally going to say I thought it was, wasn't going to turn anything, but it did. But I really do want to say about those 2 camps up there, that from what I've seen, the police are not wrong. The police were working within the rules, and even not even within the rules, within the humane part of just being human. The camps up in Oakland and San Francisco were nasty and dirty. There's drugs, there's mental illness, there's violence, and there's crime, and a certain element of that. In the Oakland occupation, you still have some people left, I don't know how to say it, police left over from police brutality, and you also have communities up there who were raised by the Black Panthers. So they have this kind of mentality already, and this group was maybe or maybe not already established in that area, and they're predominantly black, and they have their own kind of campaign that they were going, and I think that they feel that the Occupy came in after them. So now you have a certain type of occupier who was under the Occupy Wall Street, who's looking for reform and civil obedience. Civil obedience. And then you got some people over there who just don't give a fuck, and they just ready to go out. I'm talking about literally die. They don't care. They don't have any reason to live. You got that element, and then you got some people up there who are activists who are just ready to die for their cause. And there was a couple of times up there in Oakland where I would have to walk away. I would have to hard block and walk away because I did not agree with so much what was going on. People were getting on the mic, the facilitator would get on the mic, and people would literally say, "Fuck the police," crowds would cheer. They also said, she said that it is on the, I guess, Occupy Oakland sanctions autonomous actions. To me, that does not sound like solidarity. To me, that sounds like the direct opposite of solidarity. If your group authorizes autonomous actions and anybody can go do what they want, that to me is not solidarity. It was just over and over and over things like that, where it just wasn't, it was something I would have to hard block and walk away. But also walking through those camps, I have never smelled anything like that before. It was nasty. The police went in there to clean up the criminally insane, the criminals, the drugs. People were going in buckets and then moving into the porta potty. You walk through there, it just stunk. It was nasty. There were nasty people there. And, I hang out in LA and I do this, I do that, but I have never been that close to that kind of drug addiction, that low-level gutter, whatever the hell you want to call it, drug addiction. I've never seen it like that before. That mental illness, it was just bad. And these people are on the fringes of the Occupy movement. So you're sitting in the General Assembly and you see a certain kind of people, whatever certain kind of people means, maybe passive, civil, obedient, whatever, in the group. And then on the fringes you see this shit flying. Literally, you see people flying and grabbing stuff, and just, you see people trying to keep them at bay. You actually, one time the crowd just said, we're cheering, don't do it. They're just trying to tear stuff up. And then you got the police coming in, just standing there, and then you got people just spitting at the police, throwing shit at the police, just constantly, the police just standing there. The police just standing there. And they warned, they said, look, this is unlawful assembly, you guys gotta move. They said for 10-15 minutes, as all assemblies move, you gotta move. People still antagonizing the police, in the police face, bam, 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 bam. And also they pop, and they shoot a little tear gas off. It wasn't major, it wasn't shit. Yeah, we walked away from that, but it was more fun to run, whatever. But it wasn't all that. And then, whatever you may think about it, whatever I may think about it, it escalated into something that's probably going to change the world. That event, no matter how real or publicized or whatever it was, it catapulted and it started something. It helped the movement. It helped this movement, whether it was justified or unjustified or what. But things that I saw up, and the main thing that I'm so happy to be here with everybody here, remember you were the first day, everybody, is that I got used to it. I thought all the occupiers were like this. This LA is light years away from anything I've seen, ahead of anything I saw up there. I mean, the media tent, the organization here, the mentality here. I remember in our first few days we had problems with the police brutality crew and certain groups that came in with that kind of more civil disobedient, aggressive element, and they seem to have been kind of waved out. And I've also heard from people from around the country that, of course, it's LA. You know, LA, what you expect? No, everybody's kicked back, you know, like this, and it's just, you know, it's just the way we do it. And I'm one of those people, so I didn't take it, I didn't hear it. Then I thought about it. Shit, that's right. This is LA. We think differently, we act differently, we respond differently, we're benevolent, giving. And one thing I say about here, that I always say, I haven't heard the word fucking no. People just don't use the word no around here. And I'm like, how you gonna get some business done if you can't use the word no? And then sometimes, yeah, we are talking about sleeping in circles and having kumbaya parties. But, you know, that's just part of it. But there is a part of down here that is doing some serious work. And I even think even the Fox Newses and the Bill O'Reillys and the Hannitys are starting to recognize that there's something real down here. And they're making their jokes about the hippies and the craziness on the fringes. But you can see those jokes are starting to be realized as just jokes now. People are starting to see that, yeah, these people may have started it, and they created a space to where the people who, quote unquote, may know how to do this economic reform and may actually be the lawyers and the super brains to come in and do this are going to come in and fill it. And of all this, it's good for me to say this. I told Mario, I just had to get this out. I'm sitting up there, I'm just fucking going crazy. I'm like, this is my movement, whatever my movement means. I want to be part of it, and to go up there and see something just so rogue and so out there. You just don't want to be, no, we don't want this associated with what we're doing. Like all that Denver stuff and all that, I don't know what's going on. I wasn't there, but I just know up in Oakland and San Francisco, the folks was fucking up, and they needed to be policed. And they need the police in the camps because the camps are outrageous. Somebody ran up on me. Little homeless dude gonna run up on me. I'm like, what the fuck? If they gonna step to me, what they gonna do to the mild-mannered, whatever race kind of people come there with their jobs and more docile and passive, you know? And it was dangerous. Okay.
You don't think that there's a way that we could possibly police ourselves and not call in the popo, because that's part of the system that we're trying to get away from?
Here, yes. Right now, here, yes. Up there, no. Those people up there, no. Up there, no.
Do you know about the history of the Oakland police?
Vaguely, I'm starting to learn more and more about it. What's going on down there is long-standing, and it's way beyond me.
If you get a chance, read this book called The New Jim Crow Law. Look it up on YouTube. YouTube. I can't remember that sister's name. Alexandra. Shoots, I can't think of her name right now. But it's a book called The New Jim Crow Law, and see if you can find one of her lectures on YouTube, and she'll break it down to you why Oakland is the way it is about the police.
Yeah, and about that, like I said, I'm not against them. I understand their cause. I just don't think that's the fight now. I mean, that's not why I joined.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not against it. It's just, you know, the civil obedience. And then going just, you know, that's...
Well, what is civil obedience?
It's when the police say, clean up your porta potties and clean up all that nasty shit and we won't come in. And you do. Civil disobedience is, I ain't cleaning up shit and you ain't coming up here. And when you do come in here, it's going to be a problem. That's disobedience. That's when you just say, fuck authority, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And like I said, within that there was mental illness. I use the word, but it's just.
But that's part of our society.
Yes,
it's
true.
Everywhere.
That's true. But these people with these are not running our governments, and they're not running corporations, and they're not in leadership roles or roles. They're not leading. They're not leading, and they're not even really following. And they do need to be helped, or whatever the word is. I'm not benevolent. I don't really care. I'm the individual. They have to take care of themselves. I like the macro issues. I'm looking to the macro issues. I'm not the kumbaya feed the individual. But the macro issue is what I'm looking at.
And could you be a little more specific about what you mean when you say macro issues?
Like instead of feeding one person, I want to figure out how. I want to change the system to feed everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where I'm at. You know, if one person is sick, I mean, I feel for them, you know, but it's not where my head is at. My head is correcting or reforming the system to accommodate the individual, not necessarily putting the energy into help one. And But there are some people like, who have that hands-on. It's just not me. That's why when I say macro issue, like the reform, I believe in reform, corporate reform. I like capitalism. Hell, I like Walmart. I like buying America. Make America. They never did nothing wrong with me. I done had a free checking account for 10 years. I got online banking. I'm moving money around through Bank of America like it's water. I got a problem with it. And I made probably $500,000, close to $1 million working in corporations. They put my kids in school. They hired my kids now. But I do believe reform is needed. That's why I'm here, and that's why I side with people down here. The people, whatever words, I don't want to say the wrong terminology. This is it's good to me. Say what I have to say.
Anybody else has any questions for the brother who just came back from Oakland?
See, even from Oakland, it got me excited. See, even that energy got me, it's something about it, though. There's something about it that gets you going, But LA is something special. And I've seen people who came back from New York and been in New York, and the more I hear about it, LA is really, really something special. And it may come a point to where, I know we're all in together and there's no leaders, but it's going to have to come a point where somebody's going to have to start maybe saying, I don't know, maybe saying no and starting to take a leadership role somehow. But it may just homogenize, it may just come naturally, but for movement there has to be direction. But there is direction, and it's weird, because I'm from corporate America. I'm used to meetings and blah, 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 this is how we do it, we have meetings, we have committees, we just go, and it's like, no, that's wrong, you gotta go, we fire people, we move people in the right place like that. It seems to be more of a wholesome movement, and it's gonna be a little sluggish and slow, but it should, like you said, it should encompass everybody. Everybody should be a part of it. How that's gonna happen, I don't know. There are people smarter than me, I think, will come in and help us with that, how all this is gonna work. So,
when you were speaking about Oakland, you said there was already an
Can I put the camera on you? Oh, no, okay, go ahead.
You said there was already an element there already engaging in certain behavior, and then the Occupy Wall Street element came in. So can you speak a little bit to, they were going through the process of GAs there, and people came down for that particular movement. Are you saying that the Occupy Wall Street movement was the element that brought the police, or are you saying or was it the element that was already there?
That is kind of a good question. The element I'm talking was already there. In fact, I was up in some Fillmore district. I forget where I was, but yeah, the element is there. The element, the radical, I don't know, the right word, Black Panther or whatever, that white black militarism group is there, and part of that group is some people who are homeless, and they kind of homeless themselves in the city municipal areas. So they were literally physically there, they've been fighting this Oscar Grant thing for a long time. And the general tone of Oakland is angry at the police. It's almost like cool to be mad at the police in Oakland, And so what happened was the Occupy movement came in there, and these people, I guess whoever were already trying to establish and get their trying to establish and get their movement going. Now and I don't know, they may be upset that all of a sudden the other occupiers come in looking like white people or whatever, and all of a sudden all the coverage is coming. All of a sudden all the coverage is here now that this, and you kind of hear that tone, and they're angry, and they are mad, and then all of a sudden you see people coming here who have jobs and cars and ties, carrying themselves in a different way than this movement that may or may have already been there and been struggling, fighting for recognition, fighting for attention. All of a sudden you got this new group come in and, and they say, we want to be a part, but then they want to be a part, and like you said, they should be a part. How are they going to be a part of it? And there's also some elements who probably aren't, and I'm just talking about the homeless and the mentally ill. I'm talking about the people who have issues, and I don't know what issues mean. I'm just trying to get the thought out. I'm not trying to be politically correct, but that element has to be dealt with, and I think in this camp that element has been dealt with, at least down to numbers that are small. And I don't know. I know I'm going around and around.
So going forward, how do you think the Oakland movement can regroup and continue from this point?
I don't know. I think a decision has to be. I think some hard decisions are going to have to be made and worked out. because it's becoming evident. Even I read, I think, sfgate.com. There's some .coms. There's some blogging and stuff who are realizing there's two camps. There's two different things going on. You know, and it's starting to become vocal. And it'll work itself out. It'll work itself out. Because I think it'll work itself out because this movement, and I say this movement not to be, uninclusive, whatever that means, is real. What we in LA have here is real. There's certain parts of the Oakland and San Francisco movement I saw are real. And real means I like them, and I feel that they're wholesome in their mind, subjectively part of the world that I would like. And it's just purely subjective. But I think in the long run, change is happening. Change has started, and it's just a matter of, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And thank you both very much for letting me think this out. I've been trying to get this out for a few days now.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it now.
Let's go.